Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am going to be organizing this massive box of random scrapbook ephemera that I've collected over the years. So I have right now all of my scraps of like journaling cards, stickers, just a bunch of random stuff stored in this 12 by 12 case that I got from Michael's. I actually really loved using these cases, but it's getting to get really cluttered and I'm not looking in the stack as much. So what I'm going to do is transfer most of these scraps into these envelopes that I've got. I will put a link in the description of these envelopes, but these envelopes are like document holders with a Velcro snap. And since they're clear, I feel like I could access and see and be able to use my scraps a little bit more. So I already kind of started this before I decided to record. But what I'm going to start off with is just picking through my stash here and finding all the stuff that goes in a certain color story. So I have black and white and gold and gray going into one envelope. Then I have a bunch of stuff that is red, then there's orange, yellow, obviously all the different colors of the rainbow, and I'm just putting all of those together. Here I'm putting together some of my Christmas stuff and just kind of sticking in scrapbook paper, note cards, journaling cards, micro notes, all sorts of stuff. And as I go through this pile, I feel like it's just kind of fun to see how people think through and process like how they organize things, but also it's just kind of fun to watch people organize. Maybe that's just me though. I just love organization videos. I go through the stash and I find like lots of blues you can see here, but also a bunch of junk. There's like pieces that are like old scrapbook, not scrapbook, stickering projects that Sophia had, so I'm putting those into the recycling bin. I also find a bunch of number stickers, so that goes into my sticker pile. So it's a bit of a mix of like sorting through, making sure that the stuff that's going into these envelopes are going to be just scrapbook scraps, ephemera, die cuts, like scraps of paper, journaling cards, those types of paper products, not the stickers, not any like random completed, maybe not completed, but like random projects that Sophia did when she was younger. I'm just sorting through all of it. I do end up at some point combining some of these colors too, just because like the envelopes were getting a little bit, like some of them were a little bit small, so I ended up combining some of them. But like this is just the process of going through and picking through these colors, deciding where they go in the envelope. Some, even though they're from Christmas, I end up putting in red. So that's just how it goes. And we'll see what this looks like for the next few. Oh, FYI, this video is sped up 4 times. So, the video is about 12 minutes long. It took me about an hour and a half to finish the project completely. I started a little bit early and I took a few minutes to like clean up afterwards. And the video itself was about 50 minutes. So yeah, this is kind of an undertaking. So make sure you have the time to do it if you're planning to do something similar. You see some of these cards are like still in like the plastic packaging, so I take all of that down too. And you can see here I just combined the gray with the black and white. More black and white. Oh, there's silver in there as well. I have a lot of black and white. Like that I think ended up being one of the biggest envelopes even at this point. Like it was getting to be pretty hefty. All right, then at this point I decided to go ahead and create some like seasonal envelopes, and so this one is going to be summer and beach. And like this, the pile, I don't know if you could tell, is like it's pretty high, so I'm trying to start at the top and just go down the list, but also like some of it I can kind of sort a little bit. All right, time to start a new seasonal one, which is winter and Christmas, and then this one is travel and vacation. I'm adding some of like the nautical ship related, cruise related stuff into that stack. Again, like I found a bunch of stuff that's not really meant to be in here, some papers, old papers, stickers, and then here's one of those like word strip sheets of scrapbook paper, and in order to get it to fit into the envelope, I cut it down in half. Now, I haven't mentioned at this point, but the envelopes themselves do fit the 12, like one of the lengths, so it can't be 12 by 12, but it certainly is like a 9 by, like, sorry, I think it's 9 by 12, so it's like 9 by 12, and so it will fit the scrapbook paper if it's cut in half. And so that's what I did for that one sheet. And again, most of this is just scrapbook scraps, and so I don't need to do a lot of cutting. It's already been cut, it's trimmed down to where it fits, and that's just how it goes, right? Some of these, like, some of them are a little bit harder to categorize than others, but I do try to keep it, like, again, very consistent color wise. I did emphasize the color more so than like themes. I did want it to be like in a color story, and so if I could, I put it into the color. And so, like, example here is this little guy, that one little section didn't fit, so I went ahead and just cut that off and tossed that piece. Like, this is a good example, like that blue green piece. I wasn't sure if that should be in blue or in green, so I just stuck it in blue just because I had it in my hand for that. And it's getting pretty close to the bottom of the pile here, and it's just the same thing, just taking your time. It looks sped up now, but I am taking my time. This one is like a mixed pack of stickers, which I put into the sticker pile, and then die cuts, which I decide to go ahead and put into a separate category for birthdays. And I decide to like punch out part of this again because it doesn't fit into the envelope. So I punch out like some of the larger pieces at the bottom, trim off that edge, and leave the rest of the punch outs on the card, and it fits in just fine. I love that. I also decided to put food in here. Food and birthdays, celebrations always kind of go together for me, so I decided to put those in there. At one point I was doing December daily, and so I had this random envelope of like Christmas cards that I was just kind of keeping in my planner, and that was in that envelope, and now I have all these journaling cards from Christmas that I end up putting in there. Yeah, there's just, you can see it's just like completely random. I'm looking at this, and the red and the purple I feel like should have been separated, but maybe that'll be a decision I make later. I have a bunch of scraps. I decide to recycle those. And again, like random old planner pages. Here's some die cuts that I decided to put into the birthday stuff that makes sense to me. More black and white, tons of black and white. Okay, and then this one is the last of the seasonal set. So I do a spring set and decide to put some spring and floral type stuff. There's some stuff that's like a baby girl related one, but I don't have anyone like having babies soon, so I decided to put that in the pink. And then like here's this Tiana, which is not necessarily like scrapbook, but I decided to stick it in here because I do plan to use that. Random planner covers, like, I mean, it's completely random. Here's my skinny mini. This was because I was planning to bring that box, the 12 by 12 scrapbook box, with me on cruise, and so the skinny mini was my December layout, and so I had all that in there. And here are some old stuff from like Amy Tangerine and Heather Kell. I go ahead and save most of that. More black and white, gold really, and then like there's all sorts of stuff in here. So just sorting through all of that. It's fun. I enjoy organizing, and just like taking the time to like get my space to be clean. And it is messy. It takes time to sort through the mess, but also it's worth it. Like the point is, like, as I'm working through my craft supplies, I tend to not put it back exactly where they should have ended up, and so over time it just gets to the point where like it becomes less and less organized over time. So like this is a chance for me to be able to organize some of this stuff and just get it back to the way, or into a system that like really works for me. So I really love that. This banana sheet is just a little bit too long, so I cut it down, and I actually end up putting both pieces in there. Probably should have tossed the little piece, but that's okay. I'm in the groove. I don't want to like stop. I have a bunch of the banana. Not quite sure why that is. So I have, at this point, I think I'm getting down to like some of the smaller like micros and smaller 3x4 journaling cards. And they're mostly themed, so I have to kind of sort through and like pick out the themes that make the most sense, and kind of stick them in there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want to get it pretty close to where it needs to go. Like this one is like a mermaid one. I stuck that in with summer stuff. Right, this calendar right here is an old calendar that I've been cutting down for journaling cards. I was trying to decide if I should put it in like one single envelope, but it has a bunch of different colors, so I decided to leave that off. I have a lot of green. I'm realizing that. Okay, so now we're at the point where I feel like as I go through, I'm just kind of picking through the same pieces over and over and over again. So I'm gonna go back and put all of the random stuff into this, back into the 12 by 12 box. Now, I like to have a miscellaneous category, and so this 12 by 12 box is going to be that miscellaneous for me. It's going to be all the stuff that I couldn't find a place for. And so as I go through the stack, I'm uncovering more stuff that can go somewhere else, and I just put it into those envelopes. But most of these things I can just like either toss or put into this miscellaneous, and it's a much smaller like collection of miscellaneous stuff instead of an entire box that was overflowing and like I could barely close it. It's a much more manageable box, and so I really love that. And so here's an example of like me just combining. So I had a travel and vacation envelope, but I decided that that can all go into the summer, beach, vacation, travel, could all go together. So I put it into the summer envelope. And again, just whatever makes sense to me, whatever makes sense to you when you're organizing, that will be probably the way that I use it is, you know, to plan and use these scraps during summer. So that's where it goes. This one piece I used on my silhouette, and so I used double-sided tape on it, and so it has a little bit of double-sided tape on there that I'm just covering up so that way it doesn't like stick to everything else. Sticking that right in there. All right, again, we're getting to the bottom. You can see my table here. So as you go through the stack, you could definitely like see the bottom, the like the end here. And it's just all sorts of random. I have like this random like magazine cutout. It says join the future of therapy. I don't know why I saved that. Even in this video, I'm just like, I'm gonna save this piece. It is something I feel like I want to use at some point, I guess. So I saved it. And then I decided these two pieces, I was gonna put into Scrapbook, but I'm just gonna set it aside into my paper pile, like with my 8.5 by 11. And then here's another mermaid and some more travel, right? So as I uncover things, I can definitely see the bottom and can put some of these things into the envelopes or into this miscellaneous box. So that's pretty much the video. I will like wrap up and kind of clean up my space, put the rest of it where it belongs. But this is a very fun project. I love organizing. I love being able to do these types of things. I decided to put like all of these into envelopes that make sense to me. And then you know, just be able to use my supplies in these clear envelopes. I'm going to be able to see them a lot better, and I already know they're organized and categorized, so I can use it a lot better. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel. And until the next video, bye guys!